Just give me a second. Okay. So coming back to this, I'm going to create a new workspace over here. So let me go and create a new workspace. First of all, I go to the workspaces. I click on new workspace. I give it a name as Day 2 Lab 5 workspace. Any name of my choice. You can give any name of your choice. This is a workspace. I click on apply. So this is a workspace which I have created right now. It's an empty workspace when it loads. What am I going to do is I am going to create a event house. Now I have a workspace, so I can start creating the fabric items which I need first of all for my real-time intelligence solution. So what I start by is creating an event house. So if I want to create an event house, what I'm going to do is let me close all these things. So I'm going to simply click on this new item and I'm going to click on the event house over here. So we can just look for it or else we can simply type and search it. That is also okay. So this is an event house. I give it a name as lab 5 event house. This is a name I'm giving and I say create. So this is going to basically create an empty event house for me right now. Whatever pop-up messages comes, you can just ignore it, close it, that's it. So in the pane on the left, we can notice that this event house again contains a KQL database with the same name as my event house. My event house name is Lab 5 Event House and my KQL database name is also Lab 5 Event House. So if I select this KQL database, I can view it. And currently there would be again no tables in it. Right now there is no tables in the database. So we are going to use an event stream to load the data from a real-time source into a table. This is what we are going to do. Now, what are we going to do is we are going to create an event stream. So from this particular page itself, from my KQL database page itself, I say get data. This time I say event stream and I am going to create a new event stream because I do not have an existing stream. So I'm going to create a new event stream. So it will ask me to enter the name for the event stream. Let it load and then I can type the name over here. I go to this new event stream. It's taking a bit of time to load. Let me just refresh this entire page once. I click on this get data. I go to the event stream. I say new event stream and let it load for a minute. And we have to give the name for the event stream. We can give it a name as bicycle data or any name of your choice we can give. It's not loading yet. Okay, let me try one more time with the get data option over here. Actually, this is a bit slow. It is taking a bit of time to load. So over here, I'm going to go with this event stream from here itself. Let me try it this way. So I click on this event stream and I am going to create a new event stream actually. So this new event stream is giving an error over here. It is not loading properly. So when I get this new event stream, I can provide a name for my event stream, like I can say bicycle data, and that will create a new event stream in the workspace for me. It will take a bit of time for that to load perfectly. And once it is established, we can automatically redirect it to the primary editor. That is where we begin actually integrating the sources into our event stream. That is where we can work with it further. So without this giving me an option, I won't be able to do that. Let me just try another way. Let me just try to create from this data source. I'm gonna go and use this bicycles rental sample data. Let me try that, connecting with that. So let me give the source name as bicycle. And event streams name I can display as basically the bicycle data. And I click on next. I click on connect. I let it load. Let's see after that if it is loading perfectly fine or no. And let me open this event stream over here. We can see this is a bicycle data event stream which we have created, and I have basically added the source to it. I have used the sample data from my bicycles. This is the sample data I have used. Now here also we need to add a destination. Right now there is no destination added over here. So let it load a bit of data and then we can try to add a destination for this. So basically, this is all a sample data which we are using. So might be it depends upon the data which is getting generated. So this is the data which we have as of now. Now, if I want to add a destination, I am going to basically select this transform event or data destination part. I am going to select. Let me just make it a bit small over here. This is the option I get. If I click on this particular option, I have basically the option to choose it. I can basically search for the event house over here. This is an event house. I click on this event house over here. This is my event house pane configuration. I have to basically choose the data ingestion mode. So I am going to say event processing before ingestion. What is the destination name? I give it a name as bikes table. This is a name I'm giving. Workspace, the workspace which I created, day 2 lab 5 workspace. This is the correct one. Event house, I can choose the event house which I created, lab 5 event house. And KQL database, the KQL database which is already present. And KQL destination table. So in destination table, we are going to create a new table over here. I say create new. I am going to give it a name as bikes. Done. This is a new table which I am creating. Input data format is JSON, which is all good to go. And after doing this, I am going to click on the save over here. So this is an option to save it. So once this is all saved and done, then we can actually publish it. This is an option to publish. Let me just refresh it. And after that, I will click on this publish and show you how we can publish it. So publish is just like saving whatever changes we are making, we want to save it. That is what the publish does. So this is how I have published it. So once we have to just wait for a minute or so, and then the data destination will become active for us. So right now it is just loading the data. So after that, it will become active. You can see it is showing a preview of the data for us. So let's just wait for this to load. And this is the data which we can see. This is entirely the bike point ID, the street, the neighborhood, entire data which we can see over here. And after a few minutes, if you refresh again the data preview pane, the stream is running perpetually. So new data will be added to the table. So what you can do is, because it's a perpetual stream of data, so new data keeps getting added into it. So after a few minutes, you can again refresh and check, and you will be able to see the data which is there. Right now, it is not loaded perfectly, so it is not giving us a preview, but it will show us a preview over here. if I click on this bikes, then once this is loaded, right now it is still in a loading mode, so it is not showing. But once it is loaded, then we can have a preview of the data which is there in it. So this is how we can actually work with it. You can, once it is loaded, you can refresh it and you will see another new set of a data being loaded into it. All these informations you will be able to do. Further, if you want to capture those data, query those captured data, you can do that also. For that, you have to go to the KQL database and run some queries over there. So this is basically how you can work with it. So if you want to go to this KQL database, what you have to do, this is basically the event house. If I go inside this event house, this is a query set. If I go inside this query set, it's not loaded fully for me. The tables are not coming up. So right now, I think this stream is still running. It is not loaded yet. That is the reason. So once it has loaded the data, then only we will be able to see. Now let's have a look at the preview of the data. This will show a preview over here, and let me just do one thing. I will just go back to this database, KQL database. It's taking a bit of time to load. Let me just go and refresh it. So now we can see this Lab 5 event house. This is a table, which is the bikes table that we have over here. So once I refresh, I can see this. So under this bikes table, I can select this bikes table and it will basically show me a preview of the data over here for the bikes table. This is a top 100 records from the last 365 days it is showing me. Same way, if you want to query it, what you can do is simply click on this and you get the option of query with code or query the table option you get. So using this, you can go to the query with code if you want to show any 100 records or you want to see the records ingested in the last 24 hours, you can do it. Like this, you can work with it further. So this is actually running the code. So if you want to stop it, cancel this query, you can do it, or it is preparing to run the query. Once this is executed, it will give us a data, the table it will show us. This is a table of data which we get. So this is basically how we can work with it further. So now let me move on to the next topic which we have. Let me go ahead and share my screen with all of you again. So I'm going to share my screen with the PPT and let's move on and discuss how we can work with the real-time data in Microsoft Fabric's event house. So far, whatever we discussed was one by one all related to the real time itself. Now we want to understand about event house, how an event house in Microsoft Fabric provides us with a scalable and flexible store for the real time data. That is what we are going to discuss next over here. So get started with an event house. This is basically an event house which we already discussed. So Event House in Fabric will provide us with a data store for large volumes of data. What is this Event House? It's a large store, we can say, which we have for large volumes of data. Event House is optimized for data which represents the time-based events, as it is very common in real-time data analytics scenario, we can say. So they are designed to handle the real-time data streams efficiently, and it also enables the organizations to query and analyze the data in real time. All these things is what an event house is going to support. So if we talk a bit more about this event house, if you have to create an event house, you must be working on a workspace with the Fabric capacity enabled. The very first requirement is that you should be having a Fabric capacity which supports the real-time intelligence Fabric capability. Then only you can create an event house. Then you can create one or more event houses for your data. It would be supported. So an event house will contain one or more KQL databases in which you can create the tables, you can create the stored procedures, or you can create a materialized views and any other items to manage your data. All those things you can create within the event house. After creating an event house, you can always use the default KQL database or you can create a new one. You can import the data into tables from static or streaming data sources as well. So if you want to get your data into KQL database in an event house, then you typically import it from a static location, such as a local file or OneLake or Azure storage or a sample data set, or from a real-time source such as Azure Event Hubs or Fabric Event Streams, we can say. Then comes how you can query the tables using KQL. So we have this KQL database. A very simple KQL query will consist of a table name. That's a very simple KQL query we can say. Like if you want to retrieve all of the data from a table named automotive, then you have to just run the query as automotive. That's it. And this particular query, if you run, it will retrieve all the data from a table for us. This query is very similar to select star from automotive. This query is very similar to that. In KQL, you have to only write this much. Same way, you can basically, we are using all these where clauses and all. If you want to basically filter the rows, for those purposes, we use it. Or this is very much equivalent to this SQL query. You can write some SQL queries also over there. We can say select trip ID, pickup date, time, fare amount. From automotive, where fare amount is greater than 20, order by pickup date time. So these two queries are exactly the same, but you will always find this KQL is much more easier to understand, much more easier to write also. So in all the examples, like how it is given here, we can use either the KQL query or the equivalent SQL queries we can use to retrieve the data from the table in a KQL database. There are multiple advantages to each language, and in the case of a KQL database, we can say that KQL is a preferred language because of some reasons. The very first reason is the simplicity of this language. Second reason is the performance of this language. Third reason is the flexibility of the language. And fourth reason is the integration of this language. So because of all these reasons, it is a preferred language, we can say. Now, this is how you can filter the columns. If you want to filter the columns, this is how the KQL query will look like. If you want to filter the rows, this is how you do it. If you want to summarize the rows, this is how you do it. These are the different ways in which you can achieve these results. So this is very simple to write. This is very simple to understand also, we can say. Now, moving on to the next topic. This is where we have to identify and resolve the errors. What do we mean by identifying and resolving the errors? Let's just understand about that thing a bit. Now, if you're working with the event houses and event streams, there may be some of the other issues which you may encounter. So if you're working with the event house, if you need to identify some errors, suppose, so how you can identify it? You can actually use the monitoring hub. You can check the monitoring hub for that. You can check the query errors, which is there. You can also show some ingestion failures or throttling alerts or permissions from the monitoring hub. All these things you can achieve. You can identify any errors basically in the event houses or in the event streams by going through these monitoring hubs and all. So this is how for the event house, you can check the monitoring hub. You can query the errors, you can go and get some ingestion failure reports. These things you can do. Now, what is the resolution for it? If you have identified any such errors, how you can resolve it? You can actually fix the KQL syntax or the schema mapping which you have done. Might be possible that this SQL index has got some errors. Might be the schema mapping was not done in a correct way. Or you can correct the column or the file formats which is there. You can optimize or scale the capacity as well. You can update the permissions as well. So these are the resolutions in case if you face any such permission errors or if you're facing any optimization or throttling alerts if you're facing. So these are how you can resolve these issues, we can say, for the event house. Same way for the event streams, you will be able to identify some errors like check validation messages, activity logs, source logs, schema drift warnings. These errors you may get. Now, how you can resolve these errors? You have to first of all validate the connections. If you get some check validation messages or something, you need to ensure that you validate the connections first. If you're getting some activity log errors or some schema drift warnings or something, you have to align the schemas. You have to then fix all the transformation errors which is there. You need to either restart or redeploy the stream, then only it will work fine. So these are the ways in which you can identify and the ways in which you can resolve all these event house and the event streams errors which may come up. These are the different ways in which you can achieve it. Same way for optimizing the performance also. Basically, if I talk about the optimization of the performance for a pipeline or for the event streams or for the event houses, how you can optimize is what we are discussing. So for pipelines, if you want to optimize the performance of a pipeline, you can use incremental refresh, which is a parallel task. Early filtering you can do. You can minimize even the data movement. Only move that much data which is required. You can minimize those data movements. That is how you can optimize the performance of a pipeline. Talking about the event streams optimization part, if you want to optimize your event streams, you have to ensure that you simplify all the transformations. You use simple transformations. You avoid any unused columns in that case. Batch when possible, tune throughput, which means you should batch it whenever possible. You should tune the throughput in such a way that you are optimizing the performance of your event streams. Same way for the event houses, what all things you can do is you have to use the efficient KQL queries. For the event house, make sure you are using some efficient